Thank you for joining the afternoon sessions of Apttus Accelerate. So I would like to introduce our speaker today, Ravi Thota. He comes from a company that we all know, and we've been using their products for a number of years, called TiVo. Ravi has been working for TiVo, and he has over 20 years of experience driving business operations and maintaining global IT operations. So today's session will be focused around driving the future of digital entertainment. Without further ado, I would leave the session to Ravi. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you so much, Igor. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my session on how TiVo is driving the future of digital entertainment and how Apttus got us into a position where we are able to continue to transform our company with their CPQ and CLM solutions. Moving on, that's a quick intro about myself. Ravi Thota, Senior Director of IT at TiVo. I've about 20 years of experience, as Igor pointed out, in implementing technology solutions to address business transformation and deliver a tangible value to the underlying business. And I've had the privilege of working with some very good companies like Ernst & Young, Dell Computers, Agilent Technologies, and now TiVo. So what does TiVo do? You all probably know TiVo as a company that first introduced the DVR back in 1999. Those were really exciting times because that was cutting-edge technology at that time. People could actually record the TV shows rather than waiting for them and be able to watch them at their leisure. So you could skip past advertisements, you could rewind, watch it as many times as you want, and people absolutely loved TiVo. Fast forward 18 years. Last year, TiVo was acquired by Rovi Corporation, and the entire company adopted the brand name TiVo because of this iconic brand name. And essentially, when I talk about TiVo, I'm talking about the combination of the two companies and the technologies that they provide. So what does TiVo do now? We are continuing to revolutionize how people get their content in this chaotic and fragmented media landscape. Content is spread around many different services. It's hard to find content. And this content chaos and fragmentation of the media is what keeps us inspired to bring together technology, innovation, products, and basically helping everybody find the content easily, the movies, the music, the television shows that they love. So what has changed? If you look at the last 5-10 years, the traditional TV viewing habits have changed significantly. People are no longer consuming content in their living rooms, watching that television that's hooked to a cable. But what they're doing is they're consuming content on a multitude of devices, including tablets, phones, streaming devices, and also from many different services. So on an average, there's 5 different services and devices in every home. People are consuming up to 4 hours of content every day. And because of this fragmented landscape, people are no longer skipping through the channels, trying to find what interests them when they're watching TV. They actually know what they want, and they want to be able to find that content very quickly. And so with that, that's kind of become the biggest challenge in the media and entertainment industry today. So what are we doing about it? At TiVo, what we are doing is we are bringing together innovation and technology products that helps you find your content, lets people watch the content anywhere, anytime, and on any device. Because content is spread around in many different services, we are bringing together a single immersive user experience for contents that delivered through live television, recorded shows, on demand, and over-the-top devices. So a little bit about who do we serve? Who are our customers? Our customers are large television service providers, consumer electronics, Sony, Samsung, service providers like we have Dish, DirecTV, Time Warner, streaming and digital media portals, and the broadcasters and content providers, producers, and of course we have advertisers and end consumers. And what are our products? Our products are basically divided into 4 large groups. We have user experience. How do users interact with technology? What is their UI? How simple is it for them to use the technology and find the content that they're looking for? That's what user experience is focused on. Advanced search and recommendation. This is intelligent machine learning that keeps track of a user's viewing habits, what are they viewing, recommends content to them, voice-activated search, natural language, speech recognition. These are all part of our advanced search and recommendation engine. And we have entertainment metadata. This includes movie databases, song databases, television shows, sports metadata, everything combined together, and then we sell this data to a lot of businesses. And of course, we have analytics and advertising. This is an area where we collect the return path data. We have millions of devices that kind of get us the data back from what the viewers are watching, and then we combine it with third-party data to figure out what are the demographics in order to have some targeted advertising to those viewers. So what do we do in order to transform our business that basically is evolving and evolving quickly? So Rovi Corporation had a lot of really good products, really great technology, a lot of IP. We have about 5,500 patents, and more than 2,000 patents are in pending status. So really great technology from that standpoint. We are, having acquired TiVo back in fall of last year, we're combining the products from both companies and trying to create the best of breed products. So what does this mean? It means there's constant change to our product offerings. There's new technology that's evolving every few months, and we have to incorporate all of this into our products and build best of breed products that cover user experience, platform, search and recommendation, metadata, and of course advertising and analytics. So I want to go back here. Why is it so complex? Our business is very complex in terms of how our deals are done, is because when customers come to us, we tend to negotiate with them, in terms of what offerings make sense to them. So some of the products that we have up here, we also do technology licensing to the customers. A lot of this product data is not in any system for us, or was not in any system for us previously. We had, for quote management, we didn't have to have product configurations in the system. We did not have pricing data captured in the system. So when our sales reps went to configure products, they were clueless because the knowledge was with 1 or 2 people in the company who basically kept track of what products we sold previously, how we sold them, so that then they could let the salespeople know that this is how we sold previously, so this is how you can sell going forward. And a lot of our products were highly complex, so configurations was difficult. There were mutually exclusive options, mutually inclusive options that we had to bring together. And it was all done outside of the system. And there was no visibility into the deal status. So what is the sales rep working on? The deal entirely took place outside of the system. It was done through email communications with the customers. The proposals were sent to the customers in different formats. Some were email, some were in Word documents, some were in Excel spreadsheets, and there was no consistency, there was no branding of the company, there was no terms and conditions in these proposals, and of course our finance team, our sales team did not have a visibility into the deal status. Where was the deal? How are we, what is the deal economics? Is it profitable or not? And then we did not have any control over discounts and approvals because all the approvals and discounts were outside of the system. So What that did was basically we couldn't report on deal profitability, and our revenue forecasting was of course delayed, and it wasn't very accurate at times. On the contract side, we had similar challenges. There was very long turnaround time for contract processing. Essentially, our contract is our order. We don't have orders for our B2B business. So we treat our contracts as orders, and that's our bookings. And in order to capture what has been sold to the customer, so we had to have products, the product configurations, the pricing, what was the pricing, all captured in the contract system. So because we didn't have a CPQ system, the contract admins focused on entering all of this data into our legacy contract systems, which basically wasted the time. They spent a lot of time on admin and maintenance activities and data entry, which delayed the overall contract's life cycle. And of course, our contract system was not integrated with our Salesforce and our billing system, so it was very difficult to kind of get to an end-to-end view of our transactions. And then it was a challenge, of course, keeping multiple systems in sync. For our main key stakeholders, for the quote management, it's of course our sales teams who create those quotes, who own those quotes, and who keep those quotes updated while we are in negotiations. Our legal team references product and pricing data in quotes. So all of our product configurations and what price models, they're all included in the quotes. And our finance team keeps track of our deal margins and what our pipeline looks like. And then, of course, our billing team gets visibility into any renewals and also product and pricing data. On the contract side, our legal team, of course, own the contracts. Our purchasing team and the sales team initiated contracts for NDAs, purchasing agreements, or sales agreements, and also focused on renewals management. And then, of course, we got visibility into the executed contracts because contracts are bookings, and that's how we get to billing. So this is a high-level flow in how we have implemented our CPQ and our CLM systems, integrating with Salesforce Sales Cloud. So a lot of it is pretty straightforward. It's the standard flow. But what we've done differently is once the proposal is created from the opportunity and it's configured, the products are configured, the pricing is done, and your quote is generated, at that point, for us, the quote itself is the starting point for negotiations. Because we are a very custom deal company, we deal with customers in a unique fashion. All of our deals are negotiated. So when the quote is created, that's just the first step towards negotiations. So what happens is, once the quote is created, the contract process is initiated, and we go through multiple iterations of updating the quotes in CPQ and keeping track of the deal progression through its life cycle, through negotiations. So what we've done differently here is when we sync up the CPQ data with our agreements, all the product and pricing data, I think the default Apttus functionality is that you could sync it only once, whereas we did a two-way sync so that we could sync with our CPQ multiple times. And the rest of it is, of course, the agreement process. You activate and execute the agreements, and that's the overall process. A lot of our deals are very custom in nature. We have fewer deals, but then they're high dollar value, which means that when we construct these deals, they take weeks or even months, because these are in tens of millions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of dollars. So what was so unique about our pricing? First thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, our pricing is very custom. Different customers buy the same product in different ways. It's a combination of technology licensing, IP licensing, metadata, advertising, professional services, and our products. So depending on what the customer wants, we actually tend to build a pricing model as laying a brick over a brick and building the total pricing model together. So if you see here, an example is for our products that's sold in UK and EU, what we are saying is year one, let's charge the customer this. And let's charge the customer per month during year one, X amount of dollars. And then year two, we're saying, let's look at the active users the customer has. And depending on the active users, we're going to charge, we have multiple tiers for active users, and we're going to charge the customer X amount of dollars depending on how many active users the customer had. And so if you'll see here, what we've done is we've defined pricing types. This was a very unique solution. It was almost impossible for us without this solution to move forward with our CPQ implementation. And the solution, why is it so unique, is because we are able to construct our pricing models based on the different pricing types here. So we can say, okay, first year, it's a flat fee, okay? And how frequently do you bill the customer? Fee frequencies per month, okay? How long do you want to bill the customer? 1 year. Okay, what do you want to add on top of it? Okay, maybe we want to do like a revenue share, okay? Revenue share based on what? Revenue share based on DVR subscribers, right? So you could actually use all of those 10 or 15 pricing types to build your pricing model, and it can be any combination. So it's a very, very flexible design that, based on our negotiations with our customers, we were able to say, let's bundle deals as well. So we could do 3 or 4 products that included data, licensing, and actual products, and bundle them together and define one pricing model for the entire bundle, instead of doing it by product. So that was, again, another unique design. We were able to bundle products, define pricing models for those bundled products. And I think this is what set us apart. This is why we are unique in how we do our business. And this is why we are successful, because CPQ helped us put all of this data into a system which was previously done through emails and Excel spreadsheets, and be able to report out on that data. So we know what's the deal profitability. We know how the deal is progressing through negotiations. We can keep track of discounts and approvals based on all of this data for the pricing attributes. What are some of the benefits that we've seen with CPQ? Number one, our sales reps, adoption was key. We had so many products. We did not have consistency into product naming. We did not have a consistent way of configuring products because they were evolving. And so it was done outside of the system. But with CPQ, we brought all of that. It forced our product teams to think through this structure and say, how can we sell this product? What are the various options that we have that we can sell these products? What are the different attributes a salesperson can configure? What are some of the mutually exclusive options? What are the mutually inclusive options when we configure products? So that's the number one benefit. Product configurations were accurate now. Typically, going back a few years, those are not always true. And then we had the pricing. All the pricing is now defined in CPQ based on whatever pricing model we decide to move ahead with the customer. And once that's done, your proposal that's generated now is a consistent language. It has the terms and condition. It has it's compelling. It's got the company branding, and our finance teams and our sales teams, they're able to accurately forecast pipeline and also the revenue. And overall, the biggest benefit that we got is now this whole CPQ system is completely integrated with our CLM system, which is our contract processing. And there's improved collaboration between sales, legal, and of course our finance team, and it eliminated duplicate data entry. So by eliminating duplicate data entry, we were able to reduce the time it took for us to process contracts. Because once the contract was started, we already had all the product configurations and the pricing data that's required for the contract. And our contracts are pretty lengthy. They're usually 50, 100 pages. But the reference to the product and pricing data was already there because it was in CPQ, and that just got transported over to CLM. And then, of course, we had the full visibility over the contract's life cycle. Where are we? It was self-service. A lot of our legal team didn't need any help from IT or anywhere else. They could process contracts on their own and then they had a good handle on their renewals when the contracts were coming up for or expiring. So, and they were focusing on core activities of actually being working through negotiations with our customers, our legal team, and also focusing on the business rather than on the admin complexity. The flexible platform allowed us to incorporate our ever-changing business. As I mentioned, our products are changing so fast, 6 months down the road, we may have new options for those products, or we might just integrate the products with newer technology that's emerging. And so which case, it gives the platform itself gave the flexibility to our legal team to incorporate easily and then move ahead. And then of course it reduced the overall dependency on IT resources. Reports are self-service. They had good visibility and they could do most of the admin tasks themselves. Who did it benefit most? The CPQ and the CLM systems working in combination. We had sales, legal, and finance who benefited mostly from this implementation. Now our sales was able to generate compelling proposals, accurate proposals with the right products, right pricing models, without having to depend on someone else's tribal knowledge or Excel spreadsheets. It was all in the system. And now they were spending 50% less time in creating proposals. Once we know what the customer wants, a proposal, even very highly complex with complex pricing, could be delivered in a few hours. Earlier, we were spending few weeks. How did our legal team benefit? Of course, the processing time for our contracts was reduced by over 40% because we eliminated the complete data entry. The CPQ information came directly into the contract, and our ability to accommodate an ever-changing business. And on the finance side, there were two things. They were able to accurately report on our revenue and pipeline forecasts, and then they were able to track the deal negotiations, or the deal progression through negotiations. What are some of the lessons learned? I think the first thing is it's very important to know what problem you're trying to solve. A lot of times, if you have a legacy system in place, you'll try to, when you go to your business users for requirements, what they come up with is they try to recreate what they have because they're used to that process. They're used to their systems that they've been using for the last 5, 10, or 15 years, and they would say, okay, you're giving me a new tool. Now I want the exact same things because I was able to do this, so I want those things in this new system. So that's actually a no-no. You don't want to do that. You want to start with the best practices. So you want to start, that should be your baseline. Your baseline should not be, this is what I get today, and this is what I want in the new system. Start with the best practices as your baseline. Always work on the people and processes. Work out the process first and who's involved, and then work your way through technology. Otherwise, you would be stuck because there would be always issues on getting agreement on what the process should be when you're already working on the technology, and it's very hard to change things at a later point in time. We found that prototyping is really useful. A lot of times, especially people coming from legacy systems, custom systems, they're unable to visualize how Apttus CPQ works, how Apttus CLM works. When we asked them for requirements, what we got was, I want this, but then all of those requirements changed when we were able to prototype the system and then show them that this is how it works. Then they started to visualize and think in terms of, okay, this is how easy it is to get things done, so I want to change my requirements. So we went through multiple iterations and of course obtained strong sponsorship, especially for CPQ, it's finance, sales, and in our case it was legal, and for CLM system also. We had great sponsors who were steering the ship in the right direction when we had hurdles. And then, of course, we had a great team on our side. Apttus Professional Services did an absolutely fantastic job implementing this for us. Optima, with Adi there, he was the key person who actually designed the CPQ, the flexible design for our pricing models. And we had some great internal resources. Kavita, who's sitting there, she's contributed. She's our Salesforce and now Apttus expert. So assembling a great team is really important to the success. And you need to get the right people. Otherwise, it'll be hard for you to reach the end easily. So with that, it's pretty much what we had today. I'll be here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. Very insightful presentation. So I think we do have enough time for one question, and what we can do, what I suggest doing, is to follow the speaker to the speaker area where you can come up with some additional questions. So
I wanted to learn more about what the prototyping looked like. Oh. Okay. I wanted to learn more about what the prototyping looked like. I mean, did you actually give them a workable, software, what they were going to see, or minimal viable product, or just I wanted to understand what that looked like in your context?
Well, for us, the change itself was very significant. We did not have a CPQ system in place. So the first thing was that was new to a lot of our stakeholders who did not see a CPQ system earlier. Our contract systems, they were very clunky, they were custom, been there for several years, and they were kind of rigid, not flexible. But when we, with the CPQ system, when we did the prototype, we actually went through multiple iterations of the prototype. We started off with just the basic, one product, kind of what configurations for that product, straightforward pricing model, and then taking them through the entire flow from the beginning to the end. That was very important for our stakeholders to understand the flow. Then they introspected into each one, and then they said, okay, here are the details. So here's how I would like pricing to work. Here I would like the navigation, and then we went on to more details. So yeah, the prototyping itself was, we started off very light, and at the end of the day, it was kind of, think of it as iterative development, right? The end product was the final product that we had. All right?
okay, so any further questions, please follow us to the speaker room. Ravi will be happy to answer all your questions.